Righty, so this here is the air cap for, use that other gun, for this one. And this has actually got a tiny little seal in there. See, it's got a white seal in there. I'm going to have that a clean up. I wonder if that is dissolved in this. Like, not to say that that will fit on there, but I wonder if this is meant to have a little seal behind it and it's dissolved or something silly, and I haven't picked it up. I wonder. And that's why it's giving me issues. I'll strip that other one down and see, because I can get a 2.5mm cap and needle and ear tip for this thing, but I might as well just buy a whole gun. But yeah, I wonder if that's meant to have a little seal like that in it, and that would be definitely a problem. I'm going to strip that other one down now and see if that's got a seal in there. Right, so this is a completely different thinking thing again. So if this has actually got a little, if I can get the light right, I think this has got a, see, it's got like a little, I don't know if you can see it, about where the end of my, see where the end of my finger is there, you can see there's like in behind, between the air cap and that, like that little, the blue piece and the white piece, and then you can see there's like a little split in there, because this doesn't come apart the same way. It's actually, it's like there's, looks like there's a little circlip in there, so it's a different thing again. But it's unusual that this one here's got like a little white seal on it, and this has got nothing. And it leaks, and I just wonder if it's had something like that, just a little fine, I don't know, like a Teflon sort of type seal or something like that, and for some reason, knowing what these freaking lids are like, whether it's been a bit shit quality, and yeah, it freaking falls apart. I'm going to do some research on that and just see what I can find out, and see if there's meant to be a seal in there. Find out. I might even see if I can get hold of these guys from Spray Guns Direct and see if it's meant to be a seal in there, because if it is dissolved in there, maybe I might be able to get a replacement. But yeah, we'll find out. Righty, we'll do some more research, but that's probably definitely a problem. I think that's what it is. There's probably meant to be a little seal in there, and it's disappeared for some reason. You know, dissolved or broken down, and when I've been cleaning the gun, it's ended up in the bottom of a cup and haven't really realised it. Might have thought it was just a bit of shit, and you know, like a bit of paint that's been gone off, because knife the time when I you know, rinsed them out, like it's not normally that dirty and shitty, but you know, like it could have been something that was floating around the bottom of a cup and not really noticed, and thought it was just a bit of crap, you know, a bit of paint that was, you know, built up somewhere, and it's just fallen off, and it looks like something, but especially with a little fine little seal like that, if that was half dissolved, it wouldn't be hard to miss for something else if it was half covered in paint. So yeah, that might be my problem. Right, so that's the little seal that goes inside the ear cap of the that DeVilbiss gun, which I've taken out of there. I'm actually trying to see if I can get the little snap ring out of there to pull it apart, but I'm just cleaning the shit out of there anyway. So yeah, I didn't realise it was quite so freaking crappy in there, so that's probably not going to help life either. It was definitely well worth having a decent inspection after reading a couple of comments anyway and talking to Arco. So there is quite a bit of paint and crap in there. It's freaking pain in the ass. I need some bit of light coming from the other direction, don't I? Hold on, see if I can work that out so I can get a decent shot here. Right, see if this helps. I don't know. But anyway, in here, There's paint and shit and whatever in there. Hope you can sort of see that if I can get it around the right place. There's a little snap ring in there. You can sort of see it near the top. You know, there's like where the little joint of the snap ring is. So I'm going to try and see if I can get that out. If I can't, I won't. But at least I'll try and get the crap that's out of there. The light's not really in the right place, is it? Yeah, it's fricking up the phone. Typical. Fucking lights. Fucking phones. Cameras don't like lights, do they? If they're not the right sort of fricking thing. But yeah. I'll keep cleaning this out. So at least I know this is should be right. I'll retest again for ear leaks behind the cap and shit. But yeah. So obviously occasionally I need to dive a bit deeper and clean these out a bit better. Give them a bit more of a thorough clean out. A bit more than the thorough that I thought I was doing. But that's all part of learning, eh? Just sometimes you have to learn because a paint job doesn't work so good. But it's nothing we can't fix with a, you know, the wet sand back and a buff, you know. So it's not really a major. Just would have been nice to not have to do that, but at least we're figuring out what the issue is and why, and maybe I can at least help somebody else avoid the problems, or if they are having problems like this, you know, that they mightn't know, but you know, mightn't know very much either, that they can at least might be able to solve their problem too, if you know what I mean. Let's give that a gentle one with some thinners. Must be actually dusty, get a bit of blow. Blow out. Still only on low E pressure, so that's good. Not blowing freaking shit everywhere. Too much. I might slip that. I don't know if I'm going to get that seal out, that clip out. I'll have a play and see if I can get it out. I'll come back to if I do, but Arco and Heidi are going to be on a little live in a minute, so that's from Arco and Heidi from Outlaw Ridge, Minnesota. Yep. Outlaw Kustoms, which is part of what I'm doing. Just we're in different countries, different parts of the planet. Wasn't planning to be, but anyway, we're meant to be together doing stuff, but hopefully one of these days, maybe shortly-ish, I don't know, who will know with this fucking COVID crap and how long it fucking carries on for. At least then we might be able to get some stuff sorted out. And I might be a bit more financial to chase it again properly myself, you know. Again, but anyway, we'll carry on, and I'll come back to you if I have any more success and find out anything else. I'll watch it live while I'm doing it. Right, guys. Oh, it's clean a freaking phone. Dust. I don't know if it's better or worse, but anyway, so I've been sanding this stuff and all, watching some lives on YouTube. One was for the raising the roof for the school bus that Marko and Heidi and a whole heap of others are doing. Iron Horse Garage, Mikey Night, Joe from Mill Creek Fab Shop, Terry from Coverman 66, Lewis Lee from Playing in Traffic. He's got a podcast. He owns the bus. There's some others as well. What's his name? Terry Longshot. He's got a channel. I'll try and list them all down below, but yeah, I was watching their live because this weekend coming up, they're going to, oh, I can't freaking remember, I'll put it up. I'll have to freaking ask. But anyway, they're heading to where this Terry Longshot, he's got his big workshop there, which is near Mill Creek Fab Shop, in the middle of the States there somewhere. And are they going to chop the roof off this 40-foot school bus? I think it's early 2000s, and lift it 18 inches and build it all back in. Hopefully over a weekend they're going to do basically most of the fab to lift the roof, because obviously with a whole lot of guys it's damn sight easier than trying to do it by yourself. But anyway, so yeah, I've been sanding while I've been doing that, and the paint gun situation. Right, so yeah, I don't know if I've shot myself in the foot or not, but I think most of these air caps leak now, and I think maybe it's because they've all got, this one here's not too bad, but I think what's happened is because I've been leaving the air caps in the reducer or the thinners to try and get all the paint and crap out of them, you know, overnight, and then cleaning them out, it's freaking screwing up the seals that go in between these. Even this one leaks a little bit. This one's real bad because the seal's gone in between here, and that one's pretty average too. But the seal on this one is in here, so I'm going to have to order some freaking seals for these things. And I think that's what my problem is. I think because I've been doing so much painting, priming and whatever else, and I've been trying to make sure the guns are clean and leaving them in the reducer. So that white, you can see that little white ring down in there, the phone will focus on it, that little white ring there, yeah, it's screwed all those seals up. I'm going to try and see if I can get this one to seal, just so I've got a freaking gun to paint the black when I get this stuff a bit closer. But yeah, I'm going to have to try and see if I can get some seals for these guns. This one here I hope I can save, but I don't, because I don't know if I'll get a seal for it. Either I'll have to try and make something or find something. This one here I should be able to get a seal for, and this one here I should be able to get a seal for. So that's a lesson learned. I'm going to look into a bit more and find out a bit more information, because you know, I've always just given the guns a clean out and a wash out and whatever, and thinners, and normally put them to get back together. But because I've been doing so much of it, I sort of just strip them apart, throw the bits in there, let them soak, you know, overnight, and then come back and clean them out and blow them out. But I think it's bit me in the arse, to be honest, because they all leak to some degree in this one here, which is, no, sorry, this one here really bad, because the seal was totally gone. I assume it's meant to have a seal, like this one had, like a little, it's got a little flat washer, white washer in behind it, where that one is completely gone. So yeah, I'm hoping I can get this one to seal up, or I might actually, before I use it, pull this off and maybe just even put a little bit of Vaseline or something in behind it before I screw it and put it back on, before I spray and just blow a bit of thinners through it, or something like that, just to help it seal, which is a real pain in the arse. I don't know what else I'm going to do. So yeah, be careful of that. I'm going to do a little bit more research tonight. I'm going to watch a heap of videos, because I haven't just had time to watch that sort of stuff today. I've just been sort of listening and watching while Marko and them been talking about this, chopping the roof off this bus. So yeah, I've sort of been sanding all this stuff back, just trying to knock it back after I've primed it all. I've still got a lot of sanding to do on here. Started on this one. I'll just knock these edges back to have a bit of a look. And I really need to change the paper on that block again. And I've blocked this out just to have a bit of a look. But yeah, I need to obviously sand them more. But you can see where I sort of started on this side, just knocking it back. But yeah, because I poured it on here. But yeah, I've got this one fairly close. And that one there I sort of half started, and then I decided, no, I'll do this one instead. Sort of lost motivation after knowing all those guns are not freaking going to work very well on me. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but that's probably what's bit me in the ass with the paint job. You know, leaving the thinners, leaving the air caps and the thinners. So I'm going to look at, yeah, see if I can get some, because maybe the gun wash isn't as bad on them, hard on stuff. It might be a slightly different chemical that will break down the paint, but not so hard on the plastics. So yeah, we'll look into that. Anyway, I'll let you know what I find out. Right, morning guys. So welcome back again to NZ Mopar Outlaw Customs. So not sure, this may be a continuation in this video. I'm going to have to do some hard editing here, but done some research on this gun, contacted the guys I got them from. They're really freaking absolutely awesome to deal with. Spray guns direct in the UK. Like I said earlier in the video, they will ship anywhere in the world. And as far as I can tell, to be honest, I looked up on here in New Zealand, this gun here in New Zealand, through some of the local websites, is about 200 bucks. I can get it from the UK for a bit over $100 in New Zealand. So go figure. Might be a little bit more than that with freight, but you know, thereabouts. It'll be actually interesting to see what the freight is. This one here is a bit cheaper. It's about $80 or thereabouts New Zealand at the moment, I think, plus freight, obviously. But there's no seal in this cap on this one. I thought there might have been a seal between here and the inside ring of that. There is none. I messaged them, told them what gun it was, what tip size it was, and they pulled one apart. Nah, there's no seal in there. So obviously it's maybe just shit in there. I'm going to have a bit more of a play. I was actually just having a really good look and just seeing how the seal works. So on this machined edge here, on that inside edge, is where it fits up against here, like that, hopefully if you can see. So those two tapered surfaces fit together, and obviously when it's pulled up tight it shouldn't leak. So I'm going to have a bit more of a look, just make sure there's no crap in around that edge, and maybe give it a wee of, I might see if I can, even that 800, or might, when I get some, say some 2000, I might just polish that edge up a little bit, or something like that, and just see if I can get a bit more of a mechanical seal. Even some valve lapping compound's probably a little bit harsh, but it would probably work if you sat there and put it together. So I'm going to play around and see if I can get that to seal up again. The other thing I found out too is I can get a 2.5mm ear cap and tip and nail for this gun, which is not terribly expensive at all. At the end of the, like, it's less than half the price of the gun, thereabouts. So like, I might, if I get some other bits and pieces shortly-ish, I might order a 2.5mm tip for this and just use it as my primer gun, and then see if I can get another pot and get rid of this squishy freaking thing that stretches or swells. So I'm going to have a play with this, see if I can get this one to freaking seal up. I think I can get seals for the Devilvis as well, but I'm going to have a bit more of a play with that and just see if I can get things cleaned up and see if I can get these fucking guns to seal up. But I think I was watching a few videos on some of the cleaning stations. So what I might try and do is get a 20-litre drum, steel drum, of thinness or some sort of cleaning fluid that's compatible with breaking down guns, like the cleaning guns out, and see if I can find an old stainless steel kitchen sink in a bench, and just chop it down so it's short, so you know I've got a little bit of space on each side of the sink, and maybe put a get some pipe, maybe even like some brake, like some of that cheap brake line type of stuff, or something like that, some little, find some tube anyway, and make a little spout and put a pump on it and put it down into the drum, and have the drain of the tank go back down into the drum, and just put a recycle in it, and maybe put a filter in the system somewhere, and make up a little switch that I can just turn like a little electric pump on, maybe something like a cheap fuel pump or something like that sort of thing, that's obviously resistant to chemicals like either fuel or whatever. Make up a little cleaning station so I can pump, once I've given them a quick rinse out with a bit of, obviously, give them a bit of a quick slosh out with some thinners and blow it through, and then I can come down and give them a decent clean up so I can keep my guns a lot cleaner and maybe solve this problem. Because obviously probably what I'm doing with leaving the air caps and the thinners and everything is it's probably just not getting them clean enough quick enough, if you know what I mean. And try and get them out, just try and keep the standard of them. I'm not too worried about what's on the outside as long as it's reasonable, but it would be nice to keep them, if I can get underneath in a tub or a sink and give them a good wash down and get rid of all the paint and the crap off them quickly, at least they're going to stay looking nicer and tidier and hopefully not have these sorts of issues, if you know what I mean. So yeah, because the last thing you want is to have, if I buy high-end guns and I still end up with the same issue, well, no, that it's me not cleaning good enough, even though I'm trying to keep them clean. But it's not always easy when you're just sloshing stuff around on a bench and trying to get them to scrub down and wipe down and whatever. Maybe I need to obviously make up a little station or some description. But I think that's, see if I can find an old kitchen bench from the 60s or 70s or something like that that's come out of a thing that's got a good deep sink in it, stainless steel sink, but in a top, yeah, and just have, you know, like a foot of bench each side so I can sit some bits and pieces on, you know, as I'm cleaning stuff up, and just have a, like, yeah, like just recycling stuff in there, and if it gets really shitty, well then, you know, eventually change it. But if I can have some sort of filtration system in it to try and keep the worst of the crap out, you know, but yeah, and then just throw some fresh stuff in it, I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean, but have it so I can just quickly just set it up and make it work, if you know what I mean, because obviously what I'm doing is just, it's not enough. But, so I'm going to have to do a bit more sanding over here, see if I can get that stuff down, see if I can get at least this one to work so I can spray some more primer once I've got this stuff sorted, and I'll knock that other front balance down. So we'll get all these sanded back down, cleaned up, hopefully by the end of the, well, hopefully by later on this morning, and get another couple of coats of primer on them. Now they've got some thinners. They sent me another lot of thinners. Did I open it? Yeah, I did open it, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, they sent me another thing of thinners because I rang up and moaned that they fucking sent me the wrong shit. So they just send it out in the freight, and they're going to call in and pick that up the next few days, or we'll drop it in, types thing. So yeah, I'll see if I can get this frickin' air cap to seat up, and see if we can get it to frickin' stop leaking. So yeah, it should be just that mechanical mating surface that should, so I'll have to have a decent look here and just make sure there's no shit on there, and give it a little clean up, make sure I haven't got, now that I know where it's sealing, now that I've had a really good look at it, and they sent me some info, yeah, and said that there's no seal on this one, so that's good to know. But yeah, it doesn't solve the problem, but we'll see if we can solve the problem, at least see if we can get that to fit together and not leak around that. So in theory, yeah, as long as we get that little tapered surface to meet together and not leak, that'll be good. So I'll do that, and I'll come back to you if I can get it to not leak, and then we'll do some sanding. Right, so I think I found the issue with this primer gun, the 1.8 that I've modified to 2mm. I think what's happened is it mates on this surface here and this surface here to seal. And I've sat there and I've held this two here and tried to get to show where the surfaces are meeting. So like when you like lap a valve in, so you end up with like a slightly shiny spot on both surfaces, and you can see where it's mating. So it's trying to mate on the front edge of that back one. If I can try and freaking pain in the ass, it's stop focusing on me, but anyway, it's trying to mate on that front edge of that one and the front edge of this one. I didn't realise it was trying to seal on this as well, but it is. But what is happening is on this front one there, here, I don't know if I can get it to focus on there or not. Come on. But anyway, we're about where my fingernail is. There's a couple of little marks there, a couple of little dents there, in the bronze or brass or whatever that is. And that's what's screwing me up. 100% dead set on that. So unfortunately, with obviously taking it off, and I've probably thrown the bits in there, and yeah, I've damaged that. Unfortunately, yeah, just because it's mating, I'm getting a full clean mating surface on here. I can see in where it's shiny in here, like it's mating all the way around in that. And it's mating all the way around in the back one. It's mating all around on here, but except for where those two little marks are. So that's where it's bleeding through, which is a real pain. I'm just going to put up with it, but I'm going to order, I think what I'm going to do is just order a 2.5mm ear cap, tip, needle, and whatever else for that gun. At least then I can actually get a high volume gun. So that'll fix that one. Not that it's going to improve my problems with trying to put more paint on for high build, which is handy, and I'll get obviously a better finish. So yeah, I need to be obviously more careful. But hey, this is what learning's all about. Unless you make these mistakes, you don't realise, you know, like I don't intentionally frickin' whip them in there, but you know, when you sit them in there, obviously at some point I've dropped one in there a bit heavy or something like that against the other piece, and it's damaged it, which is a pain, but that's what it is with this. So this one here, which I'm playing around with, trying to get the air cap on that cleaned up. I'm just trying to get in and around the surfaces cleaned up and try and see if I can get that little Teflon type seal or whatever it is to get a mechanical grip and try and get the crap out of there. So I can get that one to seal up. And I'll try and get this DeVilvis to seal up as well. But I'm going to order, I don't know where to get parts for this from. It's one of those guns that, I think I've got a part number on here, and I think from memory, when I did some research at the time after I bought it, like a year or two later, I think it's a Spears and Jackson gun or something like that from the US. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's probably a copy or something. I don't really remember. I've got that in my head so I'm going to have a bit more of a Google and see if I can maybe get parts for it. But at the end of the day, if I have to get some more guns, it's not a big deal breaker too. It's a pain in the ass, but to spend a few dollars here and there to get some better stuff, and I know to look after it. And if I can get it to work, I'll just have it as a backup, you know, as a backup 1.4. I was hoping to try and keep that as a clear gun, but it's that freaking dirty now that it really needs a hell of a clean up. But yeah, with painting that black, but I might be even just about to keep it as like as a chassis black gun or something like that. If I can get it to seal up and work properly, I'll just keep it as a chassis black gun. Ideally, you know, that's what you would do. You'd have certain guns to do certain jobs, so you can try and keep them cleaner for that particular job. You know, keep your base coat gun a base coat gun, keep a clear gun as a clear gun, so it's always never had colour or metallics or anything through it, just in case you're doing maybe a solid colour with clear over it and you don't want some metallic through it or something stupid. If it happens to be some loose metallic or some metallic stuck on the insides of the gun, and all of a sudden it breaks loose with the clear in it or whatever. And we'll see if we can get this one to seal up, and I'll order an air cap for that one at some point very shortly, once I've hopefully got a few dollars in my bank account and just find out what the freight costs are. And yeah, I'll see if I'll talk to these guys again, Spray Guns Direct in the UK, and see if I can get a seal from this air cap. Oh, if I can get it off. The start line gun, but I'm going to order some better guns at some point. So yeah, I want the little white seal that's in there, but I'm going to see if I'm going to work out how to get this cap apart too, because maybe there's just paint and shit in there, but it's straight out mechanical seal against that little white seal that's in there on that ring. So if I can get some new, I've had a look on a couple of websites here in New Zealand. I think I can get like a 5-pack of seals for like 60 something bucks, New Zealand, which I don't mind throwing that kind of money at, but I think it's a bit overinflated too, you know, like, but I'll do some research and have a hunt around. I might talk to some of the places down here and see what they've got. But yeah, I know that gun here in New Zealand is a couple of $100 through the normal retail stores that sell that sort of stuff, you know, or normal paint suppliers that sell guns and stuff. Yeah, they're asking a couple $100 for it, which is, I think, is just, it's not worth that kind of money, if you know what I mean. So it's a good basic gun to get you going, and it's a name brand, you know, but it's a bit like a Nike shoe, if you know what I mean. Like, because it's got Nike on it doesn't mean it's worth $200. You know, but anyway, yeah. So I'll try and see if I can get these to seal up a bit better. At least get the problem better, if you know. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this nick on this frickin' air cap, which is a pain. I'll have a bit more of a plan, just see if I can maybe fix it or something. The biggest problem is if I've got to be careful I don't try and take material off there too much, if you know what I mean, because then you're changing the distance in, and then you'll never get it to seal. So yeah, I'll just try and see if I can maybe knock the high spot off that damage and just see if I can get it to at least just be a very minor leak, so at least I can use it to get the primer on there half decent, if you know what I mean. So I'm not really fighting, you know, a mess to try and sand off. A bit like what it is at the moment, because I was having issues, but I just poured it on there because I wanted to get it on there. So yeah, be a bit more gentle with your shit when you throw it in a pot to clean it. And I think that's half the reason why I'm going to make up I'm going to try and make up something. Like, it's not probably going to be in the next few days, but I'll try and see if I can sort out something to make up a little proper cleaning station, just so I'd have less of these issues. Because up until now I haven't done a lot of, you know, like, there's been a lot of priming, a lot of painting, a lot of parts to do on this, whereas I haven't, you know, when most of the things I've done has just been blowing around the outside of a car, you know, maybe around a door shut, but this is a bit more complicated. Like, it's just the way it works. It's freaking heaps of little pieces and shit. And yeah, like 4 doors and a you know, the body of a car. It doesn't always seem to be that messy, but this thing has been. But anyway, and a lot of times too, I've just sprayed the outside of a car. You know, I might have just flicked it around the jams type thing. Whereas I've never, like, this has been a completely different exercise, I think, to what I've been used to. But yeah, we'll try and sort it somehow and improve our situation here a little bit. Yeah, because you can see where it's been banged. And it's obviously just, it's not sealing there, unfortunately. Righty guys, so I've managed to get this one to stop leaking. I've really cleaned the crap out of it. I had a bit of that Scotch-Brite stuff that you would use to scuff back paint. I've got a couple of pieces of that floating around here that's I want to use on that green car, so I just cut a piece off one and got in here and really freaking cleaned up these gums. And where that couple of nicks were in that air cap, basically what I did is I just screwed that ring on there till it was almost tight, and I've got this piece and I've freaking wound it round and round and round and round and then tightened it up and wound it round to try and make those two surfaces back together again, and it's worked. I've managed to get the fucking thing to seal, so that's handy. So I've got one gun that doesn't leak. The other blue one, and I've obviously given it a bit of a clean up with that Scotch-Brite, try to get the worst of. This is a bit of a shit of a surface in this gun. It's almost textured, so the paint really sticks to it. So it's a bit of a pig to clean. But I've got that sorted. This one here I've given a really good clean up too. It's weeping. This one weeps a little bit too, just round the back, and it's really just really minor bubbles. So I think I'll persevere with it and just use it as a chassis black gun or something like that. And I'll try and finish off the panels with it, unless I can get some seals for this frickin' DeVilbiss gun, this little seal that's inside the air cap. I've tried and tried to get that to seal, and I can't. It just keeps pissing frickin' air everywhere. So I reckon that was the start of my problem here. I don't think it was anything to do with paint or air pressure or anything like that. I just think maybe I've had this apart a few too many times, and it's just that seal is not sealing anymore. It's got damaged. So I've contacted the guys I've got these off, because I'm going to get a 2.5mm tip for that primer gun to open that up, to really so I can pour primer on, high build, and I'm going to try and see if I can get maybe a few of these. I don't know whether they might sell them, you know, like a bag of 4 or 5 or something like that. See if I can get something like that for that, and see if that fixes this problem, because it fits in against the blue anodized and that next piece, and it also seals, I think, against, God, it's freaking pain in the arse, isn't it? I'm trying to see, but I think it also seals in against here, like a mechanical seal, just surface to surface. I think it also seals on that, plus that white thing, which obviously seals up against this edge of the thread when it pulls up. I think that sort of locks it in and seals it, I'm guessing. So yeah, the only other thing I don't really know, let's see if I can turn the camera around and try and show you, is with the light. Yeah, it's better. So see where the joins are in that clip ring, whatever it is, it's got in 2 pieces to where this outer ring stays on the cap. I don't know if it's leaking past that or fucking what it is, but yeah, that there goes back in there, obviously one way. But yeah, so I think it's a mechanical seal against that little inner step, against this piece, and the fingernails, and then obviously up against that on, so on here, I'm guessing, and that other inner ring on that, see there, it's like sort of like a tapered surface there on that piece where my fingernail is again. I think that's where it's sealing, or where it tries to seal. So yeah, so I've had to really get in and study these freaking things. 9 times out of 10 you just pull it apart and give it a good clean and put it back together and away you go again. But yeah, obviously I've worn that seal out, and it's all these guns have freaking fought me all at once, unfortunately. Probably leaving the ear caps and the thinners hasn't helped with the ones with this sort of seal, because I've, sometimes I've stripped them apart, when I've finished here at 5, given it a reasonable wash out, and then left that stuff in there to soak to make sure the paint doesn't gum in there, and then actually give it a real good clean up in the morning. But I'm probably doing the wrong thing. I probably should spend an extra freaking 20 minutes here and clean them up properly and then put them back together, to save that problem, which is probably part of what's destroyed this maybe prematurely. But it's given me an opportunity to give all these fucking things a really good scrub up using that scrubby freaking pad and really get into all the nicks and crannies and corners and try and get these freaking things clean to get them to work. So I've managed to get that black A&I from a primer gun to seal. That other one's pretty good, but I've got to try and, that's the one I'm missing the spring for. So what I might do after lunch before I do some more sanding, because I want to do some more priming. That's why I've been trying to get that fucking gun to work, or at least to get it to work so it's a reasonable point and it's not leaking much. My plan was if I couldn't get it to really super seal up, but maybe just had a little weep, I was just going to up the pressure a little bit to compensate, if you know what I mean. To try and get it to spray nicely. But yeah, now I'll better get them cleaned up a bit more and get that painted after lunch. But yeah, I'm going to have a hunt, because if I want to paint anything in colour until I know I can get some seals, I've got no other smaller tipped gun like a 1.3 or 1.4 for painting colour. So I'm going to have to use that blue one, which has got a minor leak in it. I'm going to have a bit more of a play with it and see if I can get it to seal. I'm not sure where it's leaking exactly, but it's coming out around the back here. So I'm guessing, because it's in between these surfaces, in between this, the ear cap and the ring, it's got that little, it's got like a little washer in there like that too, but it's between these two pieces. Like if you take that ring off, it's in between the two, so I think that's probably working okay, but I'm wondering if it's this, so it's got like a white seal there, I wonder if that's not, I'm wondering if when that comes up against it, when it winds the thread on it, it's meant to really be rubbing on that and getting a good seal, and that might be, because this is, like I bought this in 2011 or thereabouts, and I've never really had any issues with this one either. But yeah, it's weeping a little bit, so I think that's possibly why that's leaking too. But it's really minor. It's just trying to blow a little bubble, because I've looked at all of them to make sure they're not leaking. Up until this point, I didn't really, like you check if something wasn't right, or if it's, I know if they stutter, sometimes you get a gun and that means that the ear cap's leaking or something's leaking there, and I haven't really had that, if you know what I mean, but just the way that they were starting to spray, I knew something wasn't freaking right. So yeah, I've sort of got two guns, one gun that's fine, one gun that's, I think it'll get me by if I need it, and yeah, I've got to try and get the seals for this DeVilbiss. So yeah, I've contacted Spray Guns Direct about the seals, and I know I can get an ear cap for the other one if I want it. So, but that other blue one, I don't know where I'll get parts for it from. I haven't pulled that white piece out of it. I've never had that piece right off it. So if I have to, I'll try and strip it down at some point and maybe see what that seal's like and see if I can get something that's really close, if you know what I mean, and put it in there. But I think it might be one of those, I don't know, if you know guns, some of them have like a thick white washer baffle seal, and it's got like a series of holes in it. They might be different shapes and stuff like that. That might be I don't know, a couple of millimeters thick, or, you know, sort of, yeah, maybe not quite as thick as this, sort of about half the thickness of that little air gun spanner. Might be sort of half that thickness or thereabouts. You know, there's a little, it's like a little baffle washer. Some guns have them, some guns don't. They're all different. So yeah, I think it might be something like that, and maybe it could be leaking or something, I don't know. But I've never had that inner piece right out of it. The tip comes out and then that comes out separately. It's got like an Allen wrench frickin' thing in it that you can actually wind that other piece out of it as well. But I've never had it out, so I've never needed to. So, but yeah. Anyway, I'll get myself sorted out of here a bit more, and I'll try and do a little bit of sanding now, and then I'll go have some lunch, and we'll come back. And unfortunately, the UK won't answer me now till tomorrow or overnight. So, because they're heading towards bedtime. They probably will be in bed. They're about an hour behind. What are they? 11 hours. 11 hours behind us. So they're, whatever time it is now, it's about 11:30 or close to 12 o'clock. So yeah, they'll be 10:30. So they'll be all going to sleepy times. So they ain't going to answer me. But yeah, look up Spray Guns Direct if you're looking for spray guns, and you might find that they have something that's really good, that you can might get for cheaper, depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, I've found them, they've been far cheaper than what I can get here for the same money, if you know what I mean, for the same gun. Like as I said, like that one there's like a couple of $100 here, whereas, you know, like it only cost me about $100, or might be, you know, thereabouts, you know. And I know that, I know those pro lights and stuff here are about $700 or $800, whereas I think I can get one. I'd have to have a double check now, but I can probably get one here for about $500, $550, somewhere about there. So I can save myself a couple of $100 a gun sort of type thing if I want to get a really good one at some point. But yeah, I'm not sure. I know they send stuff to the US and all that sort of stuff from Australia, depending on where you're watching. So, and obviously you can get them in the UK. So yeah, look into them. They might be worth a shot getting, especially if you're not, like I know there's a lot of guns that are made in America, like some of the Eastwood stuff and all that some bits and pieces. They don't have that, but they've got the DeVilvis, the A&I, Waters, and a lot of stuff like that that's obviously high-end European sort of type made guns. I'm not even sure where DeVilvis are made now. I think they're European, aren't they? It doesn't even say on here. Well, they might be UK, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, like a lot of those guns, they've got them, and they're at good prices. I've struggled to find anything here in New Zealand that comes close to the sort of price for what I can find here, if you know what I mean, when I've had a look around at different points. So we'll carry on, and we'll catch you probably after lunch, I guess. Righty, so I'm blocking these back again now, getting back into it. So I've got this one here basically finished. I think good enough for me to put another few coats on. There's a few little lower spots that really need a little bit of more product on them. They're not bad enough to put glazing putty or anything in, or they're in spots that aren't really bad enough, but it just needs another couple of coats to block out to get that sorted. This is, these are getting really close to being painted. You know, part of this is not going to be seen, so hopefully as long as I can blend this out and where the fender sits over top, it's not too badly seen, so that should be alright, hopefully. So yeah, got a little bit more to do, but getting close. And again, like the bottom part of this, there's a little bit of texture in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. But again, we have the running board and then the whatever coating is on top of the running board, you know, whether it's rubber mat or whatever. I'm not sure. Oh no, it won't be rubber mat, it's just be, I think it's just got a lot of metal edging around it. But anyway, so I'm just trying to get these blocked back properly. Try and get that block back properly, and then I'll try and do that. And then, if I can, I'll get a coat on them tonight, otherwise I'll do it in the morning. Just see how that pans out. Just depends on whether I run out of time or not, and get enough block back before I do it all, because I want to get the 4 primed, hopefully this time. I'm still waiting to back hear about some seals for that gun. I've rung one of the places here locally-ish, and they're trying to see whether they've got them all, and they were going to ring me back. I haven't heard, so I might ring them back in another half an hour, whatever. See how they got on. But yeah, anyway, we'll carry on and we'll come back to you and we've got a bit more to show, I guess. Alrighty, so I've filled a few little marks in this piece. There was just some funny little spots and bits and pieces around this thing, mainly because I haven't paid a lot of attention to it until just now. So we've got this fairly well blocked out, all that other stuff's fairly well blocked out. So I'll just knock this off in the morning and prime them. So I'm about to, I will bugger off home. I haven't got a lot else to do. So yeah, I don't think that's about it really at the moment. Don't think of anything else to show you. Oh, this is the crap. Would you believe that's this here is like, because I cleaned the thinners out of here and like strain it back through there to get the shit out of it and just put it in one of the old cans for reducer, thinners reducer, whatever you want to call it. So that's the shit that I actually managed to clean out of the guns and off the guns. So it shows how much extra crap was in there that I hadn't really cleaned off. So I've got all the cups pretty clean now and all that sort of stuff, well, fairly clean. So yeah, so hopefully as long as I can get a seal for that gun, actually I might ring those guys before I bugger off. So hopefully I can get a seal for this one and sort that out, yeah. And I'm going to have to try and sort out a spring for that, unless I come across it in the next couple of days. Actually, I might, in the morning, I might have a big clean up around here, and just in case it's, I have had a fairly good shuffle through it, but I might pick things off and sit them somewhere else and slowly move everything and see if I can find it. It's a bit of a pain in the ass because it's handy to have that gun. That I'll just go to the engineer's shop and just get like a spring that I know that should be close to fitting in there, and I'll just shorten it up. It should be, as long as it's not too tight to pull, it shouldn't matter. Doesn't need to be terribly long. I've got one of the other ones for a sample, but they're way too long to fit in there, but they're about the right diameter to fit in here. It's just got to see there's like a little recess in there, so as long as it fits in there and goes in there, and it's just a little bit long, so I got to push it in so it holds a little bit of tension on the, holds enough tension on the needle to push it forward. That's all it needs to be, and because I got it wound in there, but you know, as long as it fires the needle back, we'll be right. Well, these ones do. You know, it doesn't have to be super strong, as long as it feels reasonable. Yeah, it's not ideal, but if I can't find it, that's what I'm going to do. Righty, I'll catch you later on.